The family of a 4-year-old Georgia boy has been awarded $150 million after a jury found Chrysler guilty in his horrific death. Remington Walden, that's his picture right there. He was riding in the back of the family's 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee when the vehicle was involved in a rear-end crash, causing the fuel tank to leak and the car to burst into flames. With more on this, Safety Research and Strategies President Sean Kane and lead GM plaintiff attorney in the National Ignition Switch litigation, Bob Hillard. Welcome to you both. Sean, I'm going to start with you. Look, I'm no engineer, but it seems to me putting the gas tank next to the rear axle, not a great design. Tell me how you analyze this design. Good, bad? Is it leading to accidents?
Yeah, clearly putting a tank that close to the crush zone is a big problem, and it's been a known problem. But obviously, we can go back to the Pinto, and even before the Pinto, it was a bad idea. The fact that Chrysler did this in such late model vehicles was really stunning, and it's no surprise that we are here today.
Bob, so as I understand it, this is the largest settlement ever in actual damages. Is this going to cause a flood of lawsuits?
Well, it should, Jerry. Good to see you again, by the way. The problem is this gas tank is, filled with gasoline, and it's literally inches from the back bumper and 6 inches below the bumper. So a small impact from behind. If you have a child in their booster seat, like young Remy was, his aunt got out of the car without any injuries, the other driver without any injuries. It took more than a minute for this poor child to burn alive as a result of this terribly defective gas tank placement.
I want to show a couple of pictures here. First is a picture of the rear of that vehicle, and you can see just how close the gas tank is to the rear of the car. If you run into it, you're going to hit it. You're going to knock it out of place. The tank is going to rupture and create a fire. Look at the actual car after this vehicle crash, and you can see that it went up in flames. Just tragic. I just can't imagine the family, what they've been going through with this. Sean, to you, we knew about this for a long time. Come on. I mean, they talked about this forever. NHTSA sort of got involved. There was even a private meeting between NHTSA, Marchione from the auto company. I mean, like, why didn't anything happen?
This is actually a really interesting point in history, is that we had a government investigation open since 2010. And by 2013, that investigation was upgraded. The government was going to have to make a decision, either fish or cut bait. They were going to have to decide, are we going to force this forward and really look to do some kind of, action to force a recall? At the same time, Chrysler was gearing up to play hardball with the agency. So what ultimately culminated was the meetings between the then Secretary of Transportation, Ray LaHood, and David Strickland, the then administrator from NHTSA, met in secret with Chrysler and cut a deal for a fix that largely everybody understands is not going to fix the problem.
What was the fix?
The fix was to put a trailer hitch on the back of this vehicle, which even according to Chrysler, it was only going to provide slight incremental benefits in low-speed crashes. Of course, the problem isn't low-speed crashes, it's high-speed crashes that these tanks tend to explode with such fury. So the reality is it doesn't fix the problem.
Doesn't fix the problem. And Bob, really? A hitch? We're going to put a hitch on this car? That's the way to... What do you make of this?
Well, and I'll tell you, this is where reality is stranger than fiction, because the trailer hitch didn't even work as a trailer hitch. They simply said this will give you a little more protection from very slow speed impacts. And Sean's exactly right. This was a secret meeting, and NHTSA blinked. They completely capitulated to Chrysler. They had a fix which allowed Chrysler to save money, but it was not safety related. That fix, even with the trailer hitch, would not have saved this little boy.
I want to get your reaction, because we've covered the auto industry, we've covered a lot of these problems. We've had Bob on a lot to talk about the ignition switch failures, and we've now been able to see NHTSA at work, up close and personal. And I have to tell you, Sean, it's not impressive. What's going on here? Are they just too close to the industry? Why aren't they more righteous about fixing a 4-year-old boy dead for no good reason?
It's a complex problem, and it's an institutional problem that goes back decades. The agency is clearly outgunned and outmaneuvered by the industry. They don't get the kind of funding necessary. But on top of that, there is that revolving door problem.
Right.
Of course, in this case, what's amazing is that the administrator, David Strickland, who cut the deal, subsequently left within months, is now working for a law firm in D.C. that does lobbying for Chrysler.
Wow.
So, these are the kinds of things that happen.
Oh, my goodness. So, Bob, quick reaction. NHTSA, why can't they get the job done?
They're not even in bed with the auto industry. They are literally co-joined twins, Gerri. They're outspent. They're not adversarial. They don't keep the car industry at arm's length. And they try to cozy up and cut a deal as quick as they can without thinking about the safety consequences until you see that beautiful little boy whose picture you just showed and you think about what he went through in the last 60 seconds of his life. It's because of NHTSA and it's because of Chrysler.
I just want to mention one other story quickly before we go. A woman, Kayla White, 23, pregnant, died in one of these cars. Just before dying, she went to the car dealership, asked for the hitch. They said, we can't get it to you now. Sent her on her way. She died the next day. Sean and Bob, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good seeing you, Gerri.
Good to see both of you. Thanks for your time.